Hi Vedant, welcome to Beyond the Title podcast.
Hi Srikanth, how are you doing?
Doing well, how about you?
Pretty good,
So,
thank you.
for the
Yeah.
viewers and for you, I'll just briefly tell you what the podcast is about. You know how there are so many job titles, and when we were younger, we would often wonder what goes behind these job titles. What does routine of people in this fancy job title look like? So I wanted to give idea to viewers as to what goes beyond the job title and what does routine of people in prestigious job title look like. And you being my friend for over 10 years and you have worked in esteemed organizations like Amazon, I wanted to interview you. So why don't you go ahead and tell us about your journey in software engineering so far?
Yes. First of all, I think probably everybody knows what a software engineer does these days. But yeah, I mean, we can dive deeper into it for sure. So far, I mean, as far as the journey, I think I give a lot of credit to fortune. Of course, there was hard work, but fortune because opportunities came the right time. Uh, but the preparation parts helps where I was ready at times to grab those opportunities, be it a random interview call, be it a project for within the company for which could get me that promotion or get me that recognition. So being ready definitely helps. But yeah, generally, otherwise, I would say it has been exciting. I love going to my work. Reason being, well, there are parts which I don't like and parts which I love. The parts which I love are uh, actual regular problem solving, be it at the code level or at an organization level where oh, we have this inefficient process and like we are running into these problems because there is no process defined for this. So solving those constraint, those limitations and enabling better, I would say, as a result of that innovation and like solutions to whatever problems you are facing. So yeah, mix of everything. But yeah, career-wise, I've been like very grateful so far. Whatever has been happening,
Great.
opportunities coming my way.
Great.
Uh, so yeah,
You mentioned something interesting, problem solving, and that's
yeah.
like part and parcel of being an engineer. And if I'm not mistaken, you were one of the founding engineers at Amazon Music. So, how was the journey like at Amazon Music? And what would you say someone who's aspiring to work on zero to one product should keep in mind? And any sort of guidance would be really helpful.
Um, okay, yeah. It's like I mean, like looking at it from like starting any project, not necessarily from a software engineering project itself. Like just think of it as you have been given a significantly more ambitious problem. Sorry, not ambitious. I mean ambitious as well as ambiguous problem,
Right.
which would and you have been given a whiteboard and you are like, okay, go do this. Uh, so I think what has helped and what I saw, I mean, of course, I was one of the contributors to the bigger, larger team which was working on this. So looking at people contributing at different level, it felt like the biggest quality amongst the best performers there and how it helped the organization and everybody like me as well and how it helped my day-to-day work was breaking down the problems into smaller chunks, but before doing that, knowing what is the exactly knowing what the outcome you are chasing. For example, uh, if you are starting from zero to one, that's your problem statement at the moment. You are uh, you are not shooting for writing the best code that there is. Your objective right now is building a POC as soon as possible. By POC, I mean a proof of concept as soon as possible. So just put together, like work a week, do a week long work and build up something. Let's see whether you can play music through our player and things like that in Amazon Music's context. Um, so yeah, knowing your outcome, what you want to, what you are doing, and doing exactly what is needed for doing that, and like reducing, like ignoring everything else around it. That is something I would say is essential, absolutely essential, and is also one of the skills which would help you on your day-to-day working efficiency as well. So, uh, yeah, pretty much that.
Great. What were the challenges that you faced, and what was your routine like when you were working on such ambitious POC, so to speak, early on? And what are things that helped you navigating these ambiguities?
Uh, okay, yeah. Few things I would say is you don't. Not everybody has to be that brilliant software engineer who comes up with the best framework that the world uses today. That's not how any field works, be it doctors, be it our fields, software engineering, or like tech industry in general. Because so in those cases, like there are people who know better about something. So I would say it's a lot about collaborating with people, not hesitating to like reach out to people if you are like running into a roadblock. Just go talk to seniors, be like shameless in the type of help you need. uh, and I would say just the day in and day out of, uh, I wouldn't say super hard work or putting like extra hours, but making sure every day you are moving the needle a little bit, uh, and focusing on smaller goals, something that is achievable within, let's say, whatever time frame you are comfortable with, be it a day, be it 3 days, be it a week, things like that. So yeah, that I would say core qualities in something like that would be just collaboration, because over the years in a technology field you will realize that everything, I mean, of course, outside of hardware constraints and networking constraints and bandwidth constraints, everything is truly a people problem. So go seek help. uh, don't shy away from trying out something yourself. Uh, become a better Focus on becoming a better worker in general, as compared to just focusing on getting better and better at like knowing more technologies or practicing to write more code. Like just like learn how to become a more efficient person in terms of time management, focusing on the right problem, doing the right prioritization, things like that. I think these are things which have helped. And also getting the right mentors. I'm a big sucker for um, making sure that I always have one mentor, maybe at work within my team. I have other friends, or I call them friends, but people significantly older than me in the field, who I reach out for other life advice or even career advices. And that's how, I mean, your opportunities and everything will grow as well, right? So um,
There's a lot of
yeah.
interesting advice there. Just to reiterate, you mentioned putting yourself out there, collaborating effectively, working with people, finding actively seeking mentors, and these are all very valuable traits, I believe, to work in any organization or to work on problems in general. What you also mentioned earlier in the conversation, about something about breaking down problems effectively. So for someone who's watching and who aspire to be a software engineer like yourself and work at Amazon or any of the great organizations, how does one cultivate this ability to effectively break down problems? And what should one do? What should one read to cultivate this skill?
Okay, I can tell this for sure. As much as I feel like I have learned from being on the job, I have also done. I I do like to read books. I read a lot of self-help books. Many of them have helped out. One of my favorites is Deep Work. I think it's by Cal Newport, or
Yeah.
yeah, I am bad at remembering authors, but uh, yeah, that was something that told me to even that where I learned to even break down problems to every 45-minute blocks, or like those focus hours and something like that. So things like this will help. Talking to mentors again, something that I learned quite a lot from. But the start of breaking down any problem has to be from clarity of what you are trying to achieve. Let's say this week, I have been given a task. Like I have three tasks, two of which are, I would say, good to do, and one is like the one for which we are going to show demo this Friday. So it's like very easy to prioritize in this case that, okay, the Friday demo is the most important one. That should be my outcome. What do I want to show in those things? Like, let's say my login flow needs to work successfully. So I can break down the problem into, okay, I will first focus on just login flow. I'll try to get it done today or in the next whatever time it takes you, next couple of days. After that, I'll focus on, let's say I want to build a UI for my audio player. I'll focus on something like that. So like, don't your problem statement, no matter how ambiguous the project or the task given to you is, when you are starting the work, it should not be something like, okay, I have to build this awesome AI agent with doing five, uh, let's say, which has these five capabilities. Like that should not be your focus. Your focus should be, okay, my focus, right? Like it has to be a achievable, one-liner, very explicit statement about, let's say, uh, I want to test out edge case, a happy flow, the ideal user flow for for this agent, something like that. So you can just focus on that and get that done. And I use it on like even travel vacation planning now. Like that is how I have become in terms of, and it and it's not a bad thing, because it is like, this is how you are easily able to more efficiently get more things out of the day.
Right.
uh, so yeah, talk to people, seek help. Experienced people are no smarter than you. Your seniors are no smarter than you. They just have more experience. And if you just go and seek uh, help from a mentor, they could just tell you what is the right thing to do, instead of you struggling for 6 months and then eventually going to them or figuring out yourself. It's a hack to, I would say, live a like face lesser challenges or getting less frustrated while achieving your like whatever outcome you want to achieve.
I really love it that you are reiterating that one should actively seek out, go out and seek mentors and ask for advice. It's good to at times be vulnerable and say, "Hey, I need help over there. I need to improve over here," and such. So it's great to hear from you on that note. But you also mentioned in terms of structured thinking, breaking down problem into smaller chunks while keeping the bigger picture in mind. And when you work at an organization as large as Amazon, which is across different countries, there are so many engineers, and you also mentioned working collaboratively. So how do you do that? How do you manage to do that while working in such a large org versus when you're working in a smaller organization?
Okay, so I would say in any company, it is a company or it is called an organization because multiple people are coming together to solve different pieces of that problem, and then you have one outcome. So everyone's objective is common. CEO is working at breaking down problems at their level. They are saying that, finance guy, you do this, my product manager org, you do this, engineering org, you do this. It's the same how it comes down. Everybody is breaking down and distributing problems to solve or responsibilities to other teams. So I am a staff or senior software engineer at Amazon. When it comes to my level, it would be like my senior manager or my org leader has a like, this is the piece of this particular software. Let's say we were managing downloads and users library in Amazon Music, for example. So we have to only focus on that. Of course, there are collaborations to be done across team, like how will you call that service, how will you get data from that service, things like that. Uh, but your problem level will be okay, and more senior you go, the more ambiguous the problem is. For CEO, it's like your share value has to go from 100 to 200. Nobody cares what you do. It's ambiguous to that level. When it comes to somebody like a staff level person, it's like, we have to build Amazon Music libraries, these are the product requirements. Now this is ambiguous enough for uh, this is like actually a very ambiguous problem rather than somebody who is a new grad out of fresh grad out of college who joins them. They are told that okay, you have to build this UI screen, this is how it should look, that's it. And then the only expectation from them is to the ambiguity at their level is to just write code. So and not, and if there are any problems, challenges, come ask and things like that. But at my level, at staff level, it would be like you like there are things which are only humanly, like every human, no matter how smart you are, there is a human limitation, there is a 24-hour day.
Right.
You can only work, let's say, 12 hours, so you have to deliver through others to get something bigger than a person can do. Even with AI, using AI and everything, there are tasks bigger than a person can do. A team with AI agents can do a lot more than a person with AI. So, my task would be figuring out the complex pieces. I will go figure out, investigate certain few of those pieces. I'll delegate few subtasks to some other, let's say, another mid-level engineers in my org.
Right.
We will break down the project into specific tasks. We'll do tech reviews, document technical design reviews internally, and then we'll distribute work into, once we have a high-level design in mind, we will uh, like actually give tasks to each and every engineer, and then it is my responsibility as staff engineer to, like, let's say, make sure everything is coming together, uh, and we are delivering the projects. So there is breaking down of problems at every step. But I think not just an organization naturally breaks down the problem. That's what a person should be doing, an engineer should be doing at their own, with their own work as well. Like break down problems into smaller chunks, focus on one thing at once, get that done, move on to the next one. Know quickly where you are getting blocked, go seek help on those problems. Like it is also a skill that needs to be developed on the job, that you have the, I would say, you are comfortable with the vulnerability, if you want to call it that, if that's how you feel about it, or like just be shameless about, okay, I think I'm blocked at this, but do it as early as possible. That way, your senior engineers and your other people who are here to help you have time to also help you. It's that, yeah.
Interesting. I guess the message over there is in large organization like Amazon, every level would have certain expectations and the
Yes.
responsibility is defined at every level. But that doesn't take away the fact that even at a junior level, people will have to, have the basic skill of breaking down their own tasks, their own problems, effectively communicating their challenges across the board. And talking about communication, how important is communication for an engineer working in a large scale organization like Amazon?
um okay, I would say, in addition to writing code or knowing what is a good practice versus a bad practice, uh, equally important thing is communicating effectively. Because as a product manager, you yourself, you tell the engineering team that, guys, we need to do this, and then 2 days later when you check in, those guys are doing something tangential. What happens there is miscommunication or misunderstanding is what happens. uh, I try to keep I personally have a practice wherein I make it the speaker's response. I can just something that I use, a framework for myself, that I consider it the speaker's responsibility to make sure that your listener has understood exactly what you are saying. Otherwise, it's their problem. Otherwise, it's your mistake.
Right.
It's not the listener's mistakes ever. So absolutely essential. All kinds of that's the part where I was referring to earlier, that everything is ultimately, you will realize, a people problem, and there is a people problem because you folks are not able to communicate effectively. Some things that help with effective communication, I would say, are uh, try to think of yourself, like try to put yourself in their shoes. uh, by that I mean, know whether, like, make sure you are giving them all the context that you have of making a decision or saying something, of why you are saying this. That's only when they will also be able to understand why you are saying something or where you are coming from. It's
Interesting.
so yeah, absolutely important. Be it talking to those mentors, be it talking to your juniors, be it talking to peers. I gave an example of your team will have to probably, in an engineering company, you will talk to other teams to how do we call your APIs and how do we get those APIs, a response from those APIs. Even those API contract decisions are something which are done, let's say, in a tech doc, which is also a form of communication ultimately. So, yeah, something to just add. Communication is absolutely essential, but do not just think of communication as speaking to the other person. Your doc writing, like writing skills, are part of your communication, which are more like at bigger organized companies like Amazon. Writing culture is a big thing, so communication is writing is a big part of communication. At smaller companies that might not necessarily be the case, but it's not like nobody's writing docs or like not writing emails. Everybody has to write emails. So writing, reading, any way of informing something to somebody has to be considered communication, be it writing, reading, or recording this podcast and then like letting listeners listen to it. Um, so yeah, consider all parts of it, and yeah, give it equal importance. That's
Great,
that's
great.
that's absolutely key.
I guess the message there is have a broader perspective on communication. It goes with, right, when it comes to writing the document, when you're communicating to your cross-functional peers, even when you're writing the code, whether they're, everything is a piece of communication that you have to keep in mind while creating in a large organization like Amazon. Vedant, US is a unique case where you have not only worked at Amazon, but you have got promoted as well at Amazon while working over there. So just curious to know, and for the viewers, what are those skills or what are things that top 1% engineers over there do differently compared to rest of the cohort? What sets you apart when you work at Amazon?
Um, I mean, I wouldn't. Yeah, that's a lot of credit giving, but but I would say it's not. Okay, this is not. So one thing I would say, it is not rocket science. So, um, like there are, I joined as a new grad. I was already amazed at like, and I would also start this journey from when I was interviewing, and Amazon, something like getting into Amazon was a far-fetched thing. It was literally a random. I got other job offers. I was very happy that I'll just join those. But then one day, somebody I heard got a job offer from my university at Amazon, and I was like, why can't I get one? And then I was like, okay, you are not even close to how good of a programmer or even a good student the other person was. But I was like, okay, let me at least try my luck out. And I got a call. I managed to get my a call through indirect connections. Um, and I just going for it, just showing up without hesitation. Like, I know I might fail, but it is okay. I at least gave it a shot. I got in. So I would say something that helped me there was just showing up and like shooting for an ambitious goal with an idea in mind that, okay, worst case, I'll get to know how these guys interview. A company like Amazon interviews. That way, in the future, at least I will have some exposure to this and like I learn from this experience, something like that. I joined as a new grad. Um, Amazon, famously or infamously, is a company which, like, where people work extremely hard. Got overwhelmed by that because as a student, I mean, you do have to work hard, but it's like on your timelines. It's no, there is no pressure on, like, it's you are the decider of your timelines. Here, it was a different world. You are already off, like you have this imposter syndrome always. You think that everybody around you is so smart, they know what they're talking about, and you are like asking, you are hesitant of asking any question because You feel like, okay, I'll be stupid. This will sound very stupid, and I don't want people to think that about me. So put aside all of it. Believe that like your company, your manager, your, let's say, your tech lead or your mentor there, official mentor there, are there to help you and want to see you succeed. Uh, Seek help, uh, work hard, because I like to think, okay, I've seen people who got to, let's say, staff engineer or principal engineer in 12 years, and there are people who got there in 6 years as well, and there are people whom it took 20 years. Of course, it's a combination of luck and opportunity and everything, but I also like to think that it is outcome of how much do you practice. So if you are working harder, that means you are solving, let's say, 10 problems a day instead of 5 problems a day. And let's say to get to staff, you have to solve 1,000 problems in your lifetime, in like before that.
Right.
So the faster you do it, the sooner you will get to it, with all the sprinkle on top of luck and opportunity and everything. So I would say try out things, work hard, be okay. Working hard has many layers to it too. Don't work on the wrong things, work on the right things. That's where, like, knowing your exact outcome and focusing your active, like, energy on only that is helpful. Where mentors come into, or managers or tech leads come into picture here, is helping you prioritize if you don't know the clarity. Like, there were days where I would ask my manager every day in the week, is this the right priority? Is this the right priority? And it has helped, because I spent my time on the right things, the exact things my manager cared the most about. uh, so just that, not shying away, like, always put your arm up. Don't overwhelm yourself, but try to put your arm up on, like, raise your arm on, like, okay, I want to tackle this challenge and things like that. Building connections within the uh, company as well has helped quite a lot. Uh, and to be honest, uh, people will think of, okay, I'm working so hard, but I'm not getting promoted. But many times people miss the part that, okay, maybe that project was uh, the project was never of the nature that it would get somebody the uh, higher credit, or it wasn't a project of which would get somebody promoted to the next level. So you need to build trust with the decider. In many cases, it's the tech lead and the manager who decide who will work on what project within a software engineering team. That they trust you enough to give you that opportunity, because they are also, that is also the opportunity for them to shine. So they would want to put their best person, most trusted person on the project. So become that trust person who trusts, and it's ultimately a game of trust. The sooner you realize it, the better, the sooner you start seeing results out of it. uh, so yeah, earning trust by doing sincere hard work, not necessarily being the smartest person in the room, but I mean, yeah, not shying away from asking questions. And ultimately, at every level, in a matured organization, at the very least, like Amazon, everybody will tell you exactly what you need to do. Or just go and ask your manager, what does a high performer, what are the characteristics of a high performer? How would a high performer handle such a situation, or how would they deliver on this project? Your manager or tech lead will literally give you exact steps to follow, and you just go do that. The biggest problem is people don't take action. So do that, and it will be a big separator, differentiator for you as compared to everybody else in the field.
There are a lot of great messages over there. I know when we met in Bay Area in 2016, I know how much hard work you put in to get into Amazon. So first message, I guess, is there's no substitution to hard work to get the
Absolutely.
job. Once you get the job, showing initiative, building relationship with your manager and cross-functional lead, proactively asking for what does it take to get to next level, or problem one needs to solve, are all things that go into play in terms of getting to next level. Thanks for all those interesting insight, Vedant. In interest of your time, one last question. Let's address the elephant in the room. with a lot of, and you referred to it, you referred to AI earlier in the conversation, and with a lot of advancement in AI tools with likes of ChatGPT, Cloud A, then Cursor, the coding time seem to have reduced because people are getting a lot of help and a lot of insight. The access to information has become easier. So how do you see the role of software engineering evolving over next few years with advancement in AI?
Well, that's a $1 trillion question, probably. I also want to know how the future is going to work. But I mean, just looking at how things are evolving today, um, it is getting easier to build. It is not necessarily getting easier to productionize things. So I don't see software engineers like getting replaced or anything. That skill is already always like it's like doctors, right? Like there are more and more tools coming. You can do a remote surgery now with robots and everything. Like sitting at your home, the doctor can do that surgery remotely on their computer. But it's not like you need that expertise at the end of the day. It's not like like you don't need the doctor anymore. It's the same thing here. You will need software engineers. Absolutely true that if productivity has increased, there are conversations that okay, this organization needed 100 engineers, now they'll probably need 10. Uh, but from being part of different organizations, I feel like organizations have a 10-year vision already, 10-year roadmap already in place. So it's not that everybody is going to get replaced. Yes, we might have the requirements might reduce for the number of people needed, but there will always be enough work. On the contrary, I personally feel like number of engineers needed will increase because companies will realize that we can now deliver faster on our 10, 20, 50 or like you don't know how much in the future do these companies look at to become like their roadmaps are literally in decades. For example, so I do see that um, adoption to these newer tools or newer technologies. It was similar when JavaScript came along. Like people who took up full stack roles, learned JavaScripts, were able to do a lot more than somebody who would only work on a backend service or only on a client engineer on the front end. But with AI is a much more powerful tools we have today. So of course you can do a lot more. Um, so yeah, learn those things. Don't worry about what is going to happen in the future. You are learning one thing or the other, but you are learning problem solving at the end of the day. Uh, don't forget about understanding the outputs the AI is going you. That's what I'm afraid about newer people coming into the industries that they will not learn the intricacies of code because not get exposure to that just because AI is giving them everything. So yeah, don't worry about the future. Think of things which are in your hands, in your control today. Learn how to leverage those tools and become more productive. That's what I would say is going to be the impact and how you can make the most out of it.
Great. So I guess the message there is look at them as tools, not
Yeah.
computers that will take away your job. Great.
Well, it could. I don't know, but yeah, that. This is the best we could do at this moment. So just focus on that.
Great. Great interacting with you, Vedant. Thanks for all the insights. Have a great day ahead.
You too. Thank you for having me.